Bora. Então, Nomera, how did this project come about?
So I worked in the fast fashion industry for about 10 years. And towards the end of that kind of phase, I decided to leave that behind me and move into starting my own brand.
Why starting your own brand?
Did
you always like fashion?
I've always liked fashion. I studied it. I've kind of breathed it, lived it, you know.
All the magazines, the shows?
Yeah, everything. I just got tired of the fast pace of fashion and how fast it was moving, and I wanted to slow down. And the only way to do that was to start up my own brand. So not only did it give me the challenge of learning how to create a new product, it was also the business aspect of it that was new to me, and I was curious and I wanted to learn more and challenge myself. So that's kind of how that came about.
Ok. Yeah. Então estávamos a perguntar como é que isto surgiu. Surgiu sendo que a Nomera trabalhou durante 10 anos na parte da indústria de moda mais rápida, que é a atual, e que decidiu que não era isto que gostava, não era o que queria fazer, então que queria diminuir um bocadinho o ritmo e começar a sua própria marca, porque não havia outras alternativas, sempre gostou de moda, sempre gostou de trabalhar nestas áreas, então decidiu, olha, por que não criar? Não foi um desafio, porque tem o lado da moda e ter o lado do projeto, vamos descobrir um bocadinho mais sobre isso. Então, how did you start?
How did I start? It's a good question. Just taking baby steps. I found a studio. I started in Hong Kong before.
Hong Kong, okay.
So
you move a lot.
I moved a little bit, yeah. So this was when I was living in Hong Kong. I found a studio that taught how you could sit at a bench and learn how to make jewellery the traditional way. And it was.
So you didn't know how to do it?
I had no idea how to make jewellery. I had the collection designed. That was the easy part for me. So theoretically, I understood the principles and how to make jewellery, but I never had held metal, or the tools in my hands, and that's what I wanted to get to. That was the next step. And I was lucky to find an amazing studio called Hatton Institute now in Hong Kong, that's owned by Natalie, who studied at St. Martin's, and she basically became my mentor, and I learned a lot from her, and that's how it all started. And just bit by bit, I just learned how to make jewellery, all the different techniques involved, which one was my favourite technique, what tools were available, and I just started building little by little, and yeah, that's how that all came about. Yeah.
Ok, então Hong Kong, a Nomera estava em Hong Kong na altura, viajou um bocadinho e estava lá e foi fazer um curso porque tinha a parte dos designs, tinha todos os desenhos das joias já realizados, mas não
foi
tinha.
Foi a parte mais fácil.
Foi a parte mais fácil, pronto, isto quem é artístico sai assim as coisas, mas não tinha a parte técnica, então foi para um estúdio, aprendeu com a sua mentora nesse estúdio como realizar todas as joias, como colocar, como escolher os materiais certos que se adequavam ao seu estilo. So what was the next phase? The Portuguese and the English mix.
Just to slowly build it into a brand, hopefully. That's the kind of like the phase that I'm still in. I mean, that's something that's going to take time. Obviously, I was on a very shoestring budget as well. So it was challenging in getting to the places I wanted to get to with little money. So it was a massive learning curve for me, coming from an industry where I had a comfortable salary, I had, you know...
It was easy to let go of that?
Life made me. Circumstances just happened that I was kind of forced into the situation. If I had to choose independently, I don't think I would have made that transition.
Yeah. But life made you do it.
But life made me do it, and looking back, I'm glad. It was a blessing in disguise. So, yeah.
Então, a Nomera estava a dizer que depois foi construindo aos poucos, passo a passo, a sua empresa, ainda está a construir hoje em dia, e que se na altura foi um bocadinho obrigada a fazê-lo porque a vida obrigou a ter que largar esta indústria da moda, que era mais segura, e a entrar nestes caminhos novos, mas que está feliz por tal ter acontecido. And when did you come back to Portugal? When did you came to Portugal?
It was September 2017, so it'll be 2 years this September. So I'd spent about 4.5 years in Hong Kong in total, 3 years starting and learning how to build this brand. And then I decided to leave Hong Kong because it's quite intense living there. I don't know if you've ever been. But
no, I've never been. But I imagine it's a little bit difficult and different.
It's fast. Like the pace of life is very fast and it's non-stop. And I decided that, you know, that wasn't really healthy if I was to be there long term. So I thought it was a good time to decide to come to Europe.
And why Portugal?
It's interesting, why Portugal. I had a few cities in mind where I was potentially thinking of moving to. Lisbon kept coming up on my radar. I'd read quite a bit about Lisbon, a few friends that had visited, kind of said really good things about it. And I just got curious. I'm a very extremely curious person and I just like to explore. So I thought I'd come for a short while and just to see. I'd never been to Portugal before. I never knew anything about it. And then I came to visit and I really liked it and I could see myself having a life here and also, you know, doing what I love doing. So yeah, I thought why not combine the two? So yeah.
Então, a Nomera estava a dizer que viveu durante 4 anos e meio em Hong Kong e depois, como o ritmo de vida era muito movimentado, era demasiada confusão, decidiu vir para Portugal. Para a paz da alma que é Portugal, e porque tinha alguns destinos na Europa e pensou, porque não este? Veio visitar e gostou.
É mais beautiful.
Mais beautiful. É muito mais beautiful.
É muito mais fixe,
o nosso Portugal é muita janota, diria eu.
And then language.
I'm working on that.
Okay.
Is it easy or difficult for you?
I think, well, I've had some lessons and I've been told my pronunciation's very good.
Oh.
So that's
you have to say something in Portuguese.
Oh, no,
Nem, even muito obrigado, even...
Eu não falo português.
Boa! You nailed it. It's easy.
So that's, so that gave me a bit of like hope. I was like, okay, I've heard it's a difficult language to learn, but if I'm one step forward in terms of pronunciation, then I've got a chance. So it's a work in progress. Yeah.
Okay.
And how was it to put your brand and work on your brand in Portugal?
Honestly, it's a little bit more challenging than Hong Kong, if I'm completely honest.
Yeah. The fashion industry is different.
Yeah, but also economically, the spending power is different as well here. So, you know, but I think that's just part of a business, you know, it always brings challenges. So, yeah.
Okay.
It's not.
We have photos.
Não, temos fotografias.
Sim. And when we see, you comment, okay?
Sure. Okay.
So let's see. Oh, que olhos, enganaram-se. Não são essas fotos. Não.
Joias.
Podes tirar, não precisa de ficar no ar.
Tira.
Tira?
Põe joias.
Joias. Estás a ver? Bling, bling. Estás a ver? Bling, bling. Não?
Joias. Necklace.
Não. Já encontraste? Ainda não. Nós continuamos a falar com a Nomera, não há problema.
Sim, não sei, não.
Assim torna a vida muito complicada.
Está a ficar complicado.
And how would you describe your kind of jewellery?
So my jewelry is very bold, as you can see. I'm wearing some earrings and I have a ring. So it's very. It's.
I didn't notice.
It's very bold. It's very clean lines. But it's very strong, but also very feminine as well. So quite chic, quite sexy, quite you know. So. I mostly work with metal. I've started working with stone. I do engagement rings as well and wedding bands. So I'm working more with stones as well. But it's just trying to find a balance of like what I like in terms of style, but also practicality, but also something that a woman would feel quite, luxurious in. So yeah, so that's kind of what I'm aiming for.
E nós temos fotos, não é? Então vamos lá ver as fotos agora.
Não traduziste tudo o estilo.
Não traduziste, está a dizer que o estilo de joias é muito feminino, mas arrojado.
Olha, muito bem.
There we go.
So what are you seeing right
So
now?
this is a close-up of my workspace.
Espaço de trabalho, sim.
The wooden piece that you can see is called a peg. And I'm using a tool which is a saw. It's a very small saw, it has a very small blade. And I'm cutting out a silver piece, which I made into a pendant. So it's like a pendant. So yeah, this was a commission by a client,
Um bom trabalho
and
que foi pedido, sim.
the inspiration came from actually one of the pieces from my collection. She loved it. It's actually an earring, and she liked it so much. She said, "Can you change this into a pendant?" So I like to. So there it is. You can see now. That's the kind of finished
Este é o trabalho
piece and a
final,
pendant.
sim. Foi
So-
uma cliente que pediu e gostou, sim.
So yeah, so it's nice that I get clients coming to me inspired by what I do, but tweaking it to what they want. So these are just, again, other pieces that I've made. And yeah, this was a bespoke piece as well. This was a client that wanted to gift his girlfriend for his first anniversary, kind of to get together. So yeah, so there's lots of romantic stories behind the pieces that I make for clients as
Era
well.
cliente que queria dar uma prenda à namorada de primeiro ano de namoro, então há muitas histórias românticas por trás das joias.
And these are just work in progress of just me making my little production,
Yeah.
because I make everything by hand. So
You spend a lot of time working,
it takes a lot of
right?
time, yeah. So this is all my like mini productions. So yeah, it's fun. I like it. It's quite therapeutic. This is a photograph. So this is a technique that I use with wax blocks, and I sit and sculpt the wax. It's very soft material, and I create
Uma técnica com cera, sim.
the finished piece, which will get then cast into silver or bronze or
Esta
whatever
técnica
piece.
depois é colocada com prata ou com bronze e é transformada na peça final.
These are some
Oh, your
sketches.
sketches.
Yeah.
Isto
And that's kind of my
genial.
little happy place. That's me in action.
Do you ever get tired of always doing that?
No, I don't. I just love it. It's just, I find whenever I'm sat making with my hands, it's very therapeutic for me. And I can get completely lost in the zone, whether I can plug myself in with music or podcasts, and I'd be sat listening to whatever, working with my hands. Here I'm setting turquoise stone. This bracelet was actually for Halle Berry.
Oh, really?
It was a little commission, a side commission that I got.
How did you feel when you received that
I was
request?
really nervous, but I was also like, yeah, it was a nice project to work on, and again, yeah, all these are bespoke pieces that I've had from clients.
Estava a referir que uma das peças que passou ali foi
This
uma
was a
que
wedding
foi pedida
band.
pela Halle Berry, a atriz. Trabalhos assim importantes, e também faz anéis de noivado. Estamos a ver algumas das peças com que trabalha. And what are the most challenging parts of this business?
When I get a project that I've never encountered before in terms of whether it's design or technique, that's when I'm like, okay.
In new territory.
Yes, but it doesn't faze me. I'm actually quite like, just bring it on. Let me give it a go, at least. So I'm very, I'm very driven in the fact that I just want to learn as much as I possibly can. So if a new project comes that is unfamiliar, like out of my comfort zone, I'm like, right, let's get that into my comfort zone. So that's how I kind of approach challenges like that, yeah.
É só perguntar qual era a parte mais desafiante, é quando tem projetos novos que nunca trabalhou com certos materiais ou com certos moldes, mas que não importa porque gosta desses novos desafios.